Welcome to the deep dive.
Ugh.
Okay, you've given us this massive stack of source material, all the spoilers, the research,
Yeah.
and it covers what looks like an absolutely explosive 2 weeks of Days of Our Lives. We're talking November 10th right through to the 21st, 2025.
Yeah.
And it feels like more than just, you know, daily drama. It feels like Salem's getting a real shakeup.
Oh, it really is a structural realignment, like you said. If you're looking for the quick way to get up to speed on this really pivotal period, well, you found it. Our deep dive shows this 2-week window. It's not just crucial; it's like maximum velocity for so many storylines happening all at once.
Yeah, it looks like it.
We're tracking the collapse of, a core legacy family. There's a massive gala being hosted. Some of Salem's absolute biggest names are returning. And at the same time, we've got two very dark, sort of intersecting criminal plots kicking off. There's a terrifying kidnapping and this whole thing with the suspect corporate lab.
Okay, so our mission here is to kind of distill all this chaos.
Right.
And give you the context for why these specific things matter, like right now.
Mm-hmm.
And straight away, the headlines are just screaming, aren't they? Lainey Price is heading into some kind of intense confrontation.
Yeah, a big one. Career defining, maybe. It feels connected to all the crime stuff bubbling up.
And then there's Kristen DiMera.
Yeah.
Just yanked right out of Statesville.
Yeah.
A brazen abduction.
It's wild. And what's fascinating, I think, is how pivotal this period is because it really hinges on both the past and the future. You know, you've got the immediate comfort, the sort of anchor from these returning legacy characters, Sammy, Eric, Will, Mike, Marie, all coming back for the Tom Horton Free Clinic Gala.
Right. The familiar faces.
But at the very same time, this is the week where the hidden agendas of the, let's say, newer, more secretive players, people like Kat Green, Gwen Ritchek, Leo Stark, and maybe, most importantly, E.J. DiMera, they really ramp up. They start to intersect, and honestly, they threaten to redefine the whole power structure in Salem by the time we hit the end of that second week. Okay, let's unpack this. It's a lot.
It really is. Let's dive in. Okay, so we jump straight into tragedy. Monday, November 10th. The main crisis, the sort of foundational earthquake for this whole period, it revolves around Chad DiMera and Jennifer Horton's son, Thomas. And the source material paints a really vivid and, frankly, pretty heartbreaking picture of this shocking incident.
Oh, it's horrific and just completely unnecessary, it feels like. Little Thomas DiMera, he runs right into traffic, gets struck by a car.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And the immediate aftermath, you see Jennifer and Chad, and they are, understandably completely worried sick. They're at the hospital, focused entirely on Thomas, talking to Kayla, trying to figure out what happened.
And the really tragic part, the absolute gut punch of the relic, is that the cause of this potentially life-altering accident,
Yeah.
it's based entirely on a huge misunderstanding, isn't it?
Completely. Thomas apparently freaked out because he saw his dad, Chad, hugging Kat Green.
Okay.
And he mistakenly thought it was, romantic. Panicked. Ran into the road without looking.
Oh, that's awful. Just
Oh,
awful.
the dramatic irony here is just crushing. And it's really essential to analyze why this is so devastating. The notes really emphasize this. Chad was not having an affair. It wasn't some secret romantic thing.
Right.
He was genuinely on his way to the office, just, acting with that Horton integrity. He happened to run into Kat, who is visibly deeply upset. We know from other sources she's dealing with incredibly stressful news about her mother's early dementia diagnosis.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. She'd be distraught.
Exactly. So Chad, driven by that, that core Horton compassion that's always defined his better side, he was simply comforting her, a friendly hug.
So a moment of actual human kindness.
Yes.
A purely platonic thing.
Yes.
And it gets twisted by fate and punished.
Yeah.
This act of compassion gets misinterpreted by his son, leads to this terrible accident, and then, spoiler alert,
Yeah.
it's going to get misinterpreted by his wife, Jennifer, too.
Exactly. It really highlights that theme you see in Salem sometimes, doesn't it? Good intentions meet complex DiMera-related people, and boom, tragedy.
Yeah.
Now, amidst all this distress, we do see some genuine family support. Mike Horton, he's back for the gala, right? He apparently bonds with Chad at the hospital, maybe lending some of that traditional Horton family support to, the struggling DiMera son. Mike's back for 2 episodes, kind of serving that family anchor role.
Okay, a small bright spot.
Yeah.
But the real consequence, the sort of structural change we were talking about, that hits on Tuesday, November 11th.
Mm-hmm.
But even before that hits Chad, we see E.J. DiMera stepping in.
Ah, yes.
He comforts Kat.
Yeah.
And she's doubly distraught now, right? She knows her interaction with Chad directly contributed to Thomas's accident. Plus, she's got this genuine worry about her mom's health.
And this moment, EJ comforting Kat, it's crucial. Chad's kindness led to disaster. EJ's comfort. which, let's be honest, given his track record, could have a deeply nefarious, calculating side to it. It seems like it's setting up some kind of alliance, or maybe more.
Mm. And this leads us right to the biggest immediate consequence for Chad, Jennifer. She uses this incident, this terrible misread situation, not as a moment for, like, therapy or understanding, but as a weapon.
Oh, absolutely. She threatens Chad directly, suggests she's going to immediately go for custody of Thomas.
Wow.
And the sources suggest Jennifer's positioning this not just as, a consequence of Chad being unfaithful, which he wasn't, but more like a failure of his judgment, and maybe even deeper, like a rejection of the safe sort of Horton life she's tried to maintain for their family.
So she's trying to pull Thomas back into what she sees as safety, away from the DiMera drama.
That's how it reads. Pulling him back into a perceived orbit of safety, far away from the toxic pull of DiMera Manor and all its associated chaos.
And this detail, this is huge, because the source material strongly suggests this custody threat is actually the likely outcome.
Yeah, that's the kicker.
We're given a very concrete structural spoiler. The role of Thomas has been recast, and we apparently won't see him again in Salem until 2026.
Whoa, okay.
So that basically confirms Jennifer's threat to take Thomas back to Boston.
Okay.
It seems destined to succeed, which means Chad loses his last link to his immediate family structure. Just gone.
So that raises a really important question then, doesn't it? How is Chad going to cope? Losing both Jennifer and his son Thomas because of this profound misunderstanding, rooted in him just trying to be kind, the sources seem to be setting him up for a very, very dark emotional path.
It feels like it.
Losing his son because he did something compassionate, it leaves him incredibly vulnerable. It perfectly positions him to seek solace, maybe not in the traditional places he loves, but maybe back in his DiMera roots.
Yeah.
Or even with Kat, the woman whose distress sort of started this whole nightmare.
Oof, that's a twist.
Yeah.
The decent thing led to ruin.
Yeah, it's a profound narrative twist.
And speaking of ruin and fallout, the stress from this Thomas incident immediately ripples out, doesn't it? It affects Rachel Black. The notes highlight that Rachel's bad behavior gets worse right after the accident.
Yes, they connect it directly. The trauma of seeing or hearing about Thomas nearly getting run over, it apparently brings up more of her own previous shooting memories.
Right, that tracks.
So this confirms the Thomas accident isn't just a momentary plot point, it's like a structural earthquake. It destabilizes Rachel, brings her back into that cycle of trauma and bad behavior, which is going to put even more pressure on her parents, Brady and Chloe.
And it just shows how deeply interconnected the kids in Salem are. One child's tragedy immediately triggers another's buried trauma. It really illustrates those long, lingering consequences of past violence.
Absolutely. It sets a really dark, heavy tone right at the start of this 2-week stretch. The family unit is fracturing, the stress is hitting everyone. Proves the personal stuff is just as impactful as the criminal stuff in Salem.
Definitely. Okay, so the intensity of Chad's family tragedy is immediately contrasted, maybe even amplified, by all the excitement around these major family returns. They're all centered around the upcoming Tom Horton Free Clinic Gala. And Tuesday, November 11th, brings a massive surprise. Sammy Brady is back in Salem.
And she is back with a statement. She's only in town for 3 episodes, apparently, but bam. She makes an impact because she's visibly engaged.
No way.
Yeah, she's rocking a diamond. And the mystery of the fiancé kicks off immediately. Classic Sammy, right? Doesn't just show up. She drops a bombshell.
It's a classic Sammy.
And her twin brother, Eric Brady, he's also back for 3 episodes this week, so it's a big Brady return.
Okay, so the fiancé speculation, that's got to be the main driver for Sammy's quick visit.
Yeah.
And our sources give us some incredibly juicy clues here. We see Philip Kiriakis opening up to Lucas Horton.
Right. Philip's dating Gabi Hernandez, we know that, and Lucas. Maybe he's dating someone special too. But the key connection, the sources point out, both men know exactly what it's like to date someone their mother, the formidable Kate Roberts, just cannot stand.
Okay, I see where this is going.
Yeah, you piece it together pretty quickly, don't you? Given Kate's long, let's say contentious, often hostile relationship with Sammy, combined with Lucas's own deep, chaotic, and very lengthy history with Sammy, it strongly implies Lucas might just be the fiancé.
Lucas and Sammy. Again.
It looks that way. But, this isn't going to be some simple reunion. It's Sammy. It's Lucas. It's inherently messy, complicated, and potentially doomed from the start.
Yeah, naturally. Okay, so it thickens considerably on Wednesday, November 12th, Will Horton returns. He's back for 2 episodes, probably for the gala. He runs into Sammy, sees the ring.
And she confirms it. Yep, engaged.
So Will's reaction must be key here.
Absolutely. We need to analyze that. He's caught in that classic soap opera bind, isn't he? On one hand, maybe he's genuinely happy, his parents reuniting, maybe some stability. But on the other hand, the memory is fresh, and it's dark. Lucas did kidnap Sammy not that long ago. This wasn't some, decades-old plot point we forgot about. It was recent, it was traumatic, it was highly manipulative.
Yeah, that detail kidnapped Sammy not that long ago. We need to give context for the listener there. Lucas literally orchestrated her abduction.
Yeah.
Kept her away from EJ, tried to secure his own place in her life. It was a massive, calculated betrayal.
Exactly. So Will knows his mother is, let's say, attracted to chaos. But he also has to wrestle with this. Should he be happy for her? Or should he just be profoundly worried about her judgment? Especially getting back with a man who proved he'd go to criminal extremes just to possess her.
That internal conflict. Loving his dad, but worrying about his mom's safety, her sanity, that gives Will's short return huge emotional weight, doesn't it?
Immense weight. He's trying to be the adult in the room for these two fundamentally dysfunctional, but loving parents.
Okay, so beyond the Sammy drama, we've got this flood of other key returns, all converging for the Tom Horton Free Clinic Gala. You mentioned Eric, Sammy, Will, Mike. Who else?
We also see Lonnie Price and Eli Grant are back. Marie Horton returns for 2 episodes. And Julie's brother, Steve Johnson, is back, though Steve's only in for a single episode, it seems.
Wow.
Plus, Paul Narita and Andrew Donovan are back for a couple of episodes, too.
So it's a real reunion.
It really is. This convergence sets the stage perfectly for those crucial moments of nostalgia reflection, which you kind of need to contrast with the danger that's brewing underneath. We see Maggie Horton-Kyriakis and Julie reminiscing about old friends, family coming back. It creates that classic Salem feeling, this huge interconnected family celebrating its legacy.
But this family gathering isn't just hugs and memories, is it? It immediately sets up a whole separate, much darker family plot involving the Horton legacy itself. And it's driven by 2 younger characters, Tate Black and Holly Jonas.
Yeah, the kids. Supposedly they're working on this sweet video project cataloging Horton family history, featuring stories from Marie Horton and Julie Williams, the matriarchs who hold the real history. Sounds innocent enough.
Jeremy Horton, Julie's own nephew, he's aggressively pushing to turn this into like a scandal sheet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's badgering Julie and Marie, wants them to expose Horton family secrets, spill the dirt. He explicitly wants the scandal, the failures, the dark side of the legacy.
Why? What's his angle?
Well, this is where we need to apply that psychological analysis the sources are hinting at. This push for dirt. It feels like a classic case of self-loathing projected outwards.
Okay.
The sources strongly suggest Jeremy's motivation might stem from Stephanie Johnson recently reminding him he's one of the worst Hortons. So he feels like a failure, right? Like he can't live up to this revered legacy.
So if he could dig up dirt on other revered Hortons.
Exactly. If he can get Marie and Julie to reveal bad things, affairs, manipulations, maybe even petty crimes about other beloved Hortons, it lessens the weight of his own perceived failures. It kind of normalizes his disappointment.
He's desperately seeking peer failure, trying to drag the family reputation down to his level, wants proof that even the perfect Hortons have deep, dark secrets.
That's the theory. And it's a compelling subplot because it throws immediate tension into what should be a straightforward celebration. The gala is spotlighting the family's greatest achievements, and here's Jeremy, determined to expose the shadows. It creates this fascinating dynamic, the younger generation trying to tear down the very history the older generation is trying to preserve.
Yeah, that adds a whole layer of intrigue to the gala itself. Okay, so the centerpiece of this whole 2-week stretch is the Tom Horton Free Clinic Gala. It kicks off on Thursday, November 13th. Jennifer's hosting, and the sources say she makes a really passionate speech about the hospital.
And that's important, isn't it? Because Jennifer is actively fighting to maintain some sense of purpose, some legacy, even while her own family structure is basically crumbling around her thanks to the Thomas accident and that looming custody fight.
Right.
She's making sure everyone knows. Opening this free clinic, it ensures her grandfather, Tom Horton's, legacy continues. A legacy built on integrity, helping the community. It's her holding on to something good.
The gala is also a moment to highlight John Black's lasting impact, right? Specifically that significant bequest he left to the hospital.
Yeah, it's a necessary moment. honoring the past, setting the stage before all the massive conflicts erupt in the present.
And amidst all the speeches and the fancy clothes, we get those essential, deeply character-driven soap moments, the sweet ones and the intensely confrontational ones.
Definitely. We have a very sweet moment flagged between Marlena Evans and Will Horton.
I love this detail. Will came out to Marlena first, didn't he? Before anyone else. They had that immediate, profound bond of trust.
They do, and Will checks in on his grandmother, sensing that void left by John Black's death. It's a really human moment.
Do the sources hint if she confides in him about her current health stuff? Like knowing he'd approach it maybe more medically than emotionally?
The sources really just emphasize the tenderness of the exchange. It's poignant, a brief island of normalcy in all the chaos. While it doesn't say she explicitly tells him about the poisoning concern, Will's presence as that trusted confidant, that family anchor, is vital for Marlena right now. He provides that grounding force for her.
Okay. But that sweetness is immediately followed by the chaos Sammy Brady inevitably brings to any formal event.
Oh, yeah. Sammy runs into E.J. DiMera. And the source material suggests she has multiple scores to settle with her ex-husband. She's got a whole menu of rage options here.
What are the options? Lay them out.
Okay, 3 excellent choices for ammunition, and knowing Sammy, she might deploy all of them. First, she could absolutely cheer him out over his highly publicized fling with Belle Black.
Yep, classic Sammy move.
Second, she could mock him for losing Belle, for failing to keep that relationship going. Always got to rub salt in the wound. But perhaps the most cutting line, the one most guaranteed to cause maximum damage, criticizing him for nearly messing up Johnny DiMera's adoption hopes for Trey.
Ooh, that's the one. That detail is critical. Sammy is fiercely protective of her kids. EJ trying to undermine Johnny's happiness, especially about a child. That would be unforgivable. Perfect spark for a huge public showdown at the gala.
Absolutely. But while Sammy and EJ are busy arguing over past mistakes, the real mystery brewing under those crystal chandeliers involves Marlena herself. During the gala events, Marlena apparently finds the day overwhelming, and she might experience another fainting spell.
And this is more than just stress, right? More than just missing John or hosting the event. The source material sounds pretty specific in its concern.
Far more. This isn't just natural exhaustion. The sources are quite clear. Marlena may be being drugged or poisoned for some highly nefarious reason. We're told tests have been run, but, and this is key, the sources explicitly question if they ran tests looking for specific poisoning agents, suggesting maybe the poison is subtle, targeted, hard to detect with just routine screenings.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting then. This immediately connects Marlena's personal health crisis to those wider criminal conspiracies starting to take root.
Exactly. Marlena is the pillar of the community, right? Top psychiatrist, frequent thorn in the side of anyone trying mind control or weird experiments.
So is someone targeting the revered Dr. Evans to gain control, to silence her about something she might have stumbled onto at the clinic? Maybe something linking back to the DiMera Lab's history of unethical research.
That's the terrifying possibility. Her vulnerability raises the stakes enormously. If Marlena, the seemingly untouchable sage of Salem, can be successfully targeted, poisoned, then the entire structure of stability in Salem is vulnerable to this unseen enemy. It ties her personal drama, her health, directly to the corporate conspiracy plot.
The poisoning theory confirms the threat is internal, calculating. Not random violence, but a slow, deliberate takedown of a figurehead, potentially orchestrated by the same forces using that shady lab.
Precisely.
Okay. So we wrap up the gala on Friday, November 14th, with a few more crucial details.
Yeah.
Ariana Horton is there on her dad Will's arm, which is sweet.
Yeah. And then there's Kat Green, making a bit of an unusual appearance maybe, given the Thomas situation.
How so?
Well, she is described as looking swanky for the gala, dressed to impress or maybe to distract. But she does something really bizarre, something that just screams plot device.
What is it?
She's strangely walking around carrying her Wuthering Heights book.
At the gala, carrying a book.
Yep, absolutely not typical gala attire. It immediately signals to anyone paying attention that she's either sending some kind of coded message, or this book is somehow a physical key to her secret mission, or maybe to her growing connection with EJ.
That's the perfect little weird detail that just screams, I am up to something secretive and possibly romantic or gothic or both.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, Jack Devereaux is also seen reassuring Jennifer, who's still extremely worried about Thomas's injuries.
Right, highlighting that the custody threat hasn't vanished. It's just kind of paused for the evening.
Yeah.
But yeah, the family drama is definitely being overshadowed by this gathering storm of criminal activity that the gala seems to be masking.
Right. That elegant gala is just the shiny surface. Beneath it, multiple secret missions, converging conspiracies, they're all rapidly progressing. And it really starts with this Demerolab mystery, which apparently gets a significant breakthrough on Wednesday, November 12th.
Yeah, Ray Fernandez uncovers something profoundly disturbing. The source material strongly suggests it's related to the EJ case and what they keep calling the Shady Lab. Rafe's discovery basically acts as the official law enforcement entry point into this whole corporate malfeasance plot.
Okay, so the cops are onto something. And by the following week, the week of November 17th, we get confirmation of exactly what the villains are up to. EJ's lab is fully operational, ready for experiments. And the drug, it's for 6.
Okay, we need to contextualize verse 6 for the listener. Demera Labs. They have a long, frankly terrifying history in Salem, don't they? Often tied to highly unethical experiments, memory transference, brainwashing, the pursuit of immortality, all that stuff.
Definitely.
Verse 6 has been linked to nefarious schemes before, and now it's explicitly being studied again. So the crucial question the sources pose is, are they studying verse 6 for, legitimate research and development, or are they studying it for nefarious reasons?
And is Dr. Mark Greencat's brother involved?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If Dr. Green is involved, it fundamentally changes Kat's motivation. If she's investigating the lab, but her brother's working there, her mission shifts, right? From pure justice to something complicated by sibling loyalty, or maybe even damage control, trying to protect him from the fallout of Demera's influence.
Which implicates EJ and the Demera Corporation even more deeply in potentially illegal activity, possibly using Kat's family connections, maybe even her scientific expertise.
It's messy, and this corporate conspiracy creates at least 3 distinct intersecting secret missions happening all at once, all unknowingly working against each other, creating this web of paranoia and double-crossing.
Okay, lay them out. Mission 1.
First, you've got Kat's investigation. Or maybe damage control, like we said. She needs to keep people away from the clinic and the lab while she continues whatever she's doing. This suggests her purpose is highly sensitive, requires extreme secrecy.
Mission 2.
Then you've got Leo Stark, playing the role of the nosy journalist, the gossip columnist, asking a lot of nosy questions. He's that destabilizing force just poking holes in secrets because he smells a story.
So Kat and Leo are basically spies accidentally tripping over each other?
Effectively, yeah. Unknowingly frustrating each other's operations, creating accidental chaos. It's kind of funny, in a dangerous way.
Okay, on Mission 3.
Gwen Rizek. She's described as being on edge because she's been handed a brand new, highly secretive mission. This assignment sounds significant. Suggests she's taking orders from someone powerful, someone linked to this current crime wave.
And what's Gwen's mission potentially about?
2 possibilities hinted at in the sources. 1, it could be related to getting Leo out of Salem, neutralizing him as a threat to the Demera lab, or whoever's directing Gwen. Makes sense, right, given Leo's nosiness.
Yeah.
Or, and this is the darker possibility, it might have something to do with Kristen's fate.
Meaning Gwen might be the kidnapper.
Yeah.
Or involved somehow.
Exactly. Either tasked with carrying out the kidnapping itself, or maybe dealing with the fallout, controlling the prisoner afterwards.
Wow. Okay, so Gwen's involvement immediately connects this lab plot straight to the kidnapping plot. Shows how intertwined these criminal threads really are.
Absolutely. But before we get fully into the abduction, let's quickly touch on this strange legal alliance that seems to be completely blocking justice for Philip Kyriakis.
Right, the Xander situation.
Yeah. On Friday, Maggie gives Sarah an update on Xander Cook. The sources state Xander and Philip are now in lockstep. Philip is flat out refusing to testify against Xander for the attack.
Why would he do that after Xander attacked him?
Well, it's simple and self-serving. If Philip testifies against Xander, he'd be forced under oath to reveal his own widespread corporate fraud.
Ah, so because Philip's a criminal too?
The police and the legal system are completely neutralized. There's no other proof Xander attacked him. They can't proceed. Justice is totally thwarted, not by some brilliant plot, but just by mutual criminal interest and the fear of exposure.
That just shows how deeply corrupt the upper levels of Salem's business world can be, doesn't it?
It really does. Reinforces that whole idea.
Yeah.
Pursuit of personal power or just personal safety from prosecution often outweighs the pursuit of justice in this town.
Yeah.
And finally, we see Eli Grant has some pointed questions for EJ on Friday. likely related to that Versix lab situation Rafe uncovered, maybe. Or perhaps something about Theo Carver. Elaw's presence just ensures that federal scrutiny is focused directly on the Damaras, right as their dark operations seem to be coming online.
The timing is definitely suspicious. Okay, this brings us to maybe the most shocking, action-packed part of these 2 weeks. The criminal element really explodes, starting with Kristen Damara's abduction. This happens sometime during that first week, November 10th through the 14th.
Yeah, this is a massive high-stakes shocker. Kristen is kidnapped out of Statesville prison.
Out of prison? How?
Exactly. The sources emphasize she's still in her prison blues when she's snatched. This isn't some simple breakout. This means a serious, well-resourced operation had to be mounted to extract her from a secure state facility. We're talking potential bribes, maybe sleeper agents inside, significant logistical planning. It's big.
Okay, that level of operational skill really narrows down the suspects, doesn't it? The question immediately becomes, who took her? Was it Gwen, acting on her secret mission, maybe needing Kristen as leverage?
That's one possibility. Or was it? And the sources use this phrase, somebody much worse.
Ominous.
Yeah. The implication is maybe a higher power, a major crime boss, perhaps someone connected to Stefano's old network or even a foreign cartel pulling the strings, maybe using Gwen merely as a tool, an operative.
This feels like a major power play. Kristen's value, its leverage, right? And history. She knows every Damara secret, every past scheme, every weakness.
Exactly. Her abduction means someone either needs that information badly or they need a pawn to control the Damara empire, possibly related to that Versix research everyone's so interested in.
And this feeds directly into the Lonnie Price storyline, doesn't it? The sources say Lonnie has an explosive showdown with somebody during this time frame. We have to remember Lonnie's not just a cop anymore. She's an active federal agent, she's Eli's wife, and she's been deeply involved in past Damara and Price family crises.
Right. So given her training, her current professional status, this confrontation, it's got to be high stakes and professional, not just personal drama. It feels highly probable this showdown relates directly to the investigation, either the kidnapping or the shady lab activities, putting her directly in the line of fire against maybe that somebody much worse who orchestrated Kristen's disappearance.
Lonnie's also dealing with family stuff in between, potentially facing down major criminals. She and Abe discuss Theo Carver. Lonnie tells Abe he needs to ruminate. That's the word used on why Theo opens up to Paulina Price, but not really to Abe.
That's Lonnie doing the emotional heavy lifting for the family, isn't it? It's a gentle but firm reminder from her that Abe needs to really think about his relationship dynamics with his son. It just shows Lonnie juggling massive professional risk while still providing that crucial, stabilizing emotional guidance for her family. She's got a lot on her plate.
Seriously. Okay, so we shift into week 2, November 17th through the 21st. And the sources promise things move fast on the criminal front. Kristen's kidnapper should be revealed this week.
Yes. Linking the abduction directly back to maybe those ongoing corporate plots.
And the terror is spreading. It's not just Kristen.
Apparently not. Our notes suggest Sarah Horton may also soon be snatched.
Sarah, too. Why Sarah?
Well, it implies the kidnapper is operating on a pattern, maybe? Kristen's kidnapping wasn't isolated, it was the start. Perhaps targeting women connected to specific powerful men like Xander or maybe even Philip, or women connected to specific Damara or Kyriakis secrets. This raises the stakes for absolutely everyone associated with those powerful families.
Okay, this is escalating fast.
Yeah.
And the fallout also involves Leo Stark, since he's been so nosy.
Yeah, he's made himself a target. The sources suggest Javi Hernandez may need to rescue Leo if Rita or maybe Gwen are ordered to get him out of the way.
Javi Hernandez, really?
Yeah. It suggests neutralizing Leo is a priority for whatever shadowy organization is running the kidnapping and the lab. And Javi may be brought in by a concerned relative, perhaps even Sonny Kyriakis looking out for Leo, might step up as this unexpected hero to protect him.
An unlikely protector for Leo.
Yeah.
Okay.
This constant threat of abduction, first Kristen, then maybe Sarah, then Leo needing protection. It just shows this criminal organization is operating aggressively and efficiently, silencing or leveraging anyone who stands in its way.
Okay, now let's loop back to that weird Wuthering Heights clue Kat gave us at the gala. While the world is collapsing into kidnappings and custody battles, the sources confirm sparks are actually flying between EJ and Kat.
Yep, right on schedule. The source confirms that sparks may be seen between EJ and Kat. It's like Chad's platonic hug immediately became EJ's romantic opportunity.
Of course it did.
And that literary clue Kat carrying that specific book at the gala, the meaning may soon be revealed. The Wuthering Heights connection links them somehow? maybe through shared history, literary taste,
Hmm.
or, more nefariously, maybe it's a coded message tied to their intersecting criminal or investigative agendas.
This contrast is just the ultimate soap opera irony, isn't it? Chad is falling to pieces over the misinterpretation of his innocent hug with Kat.
While EJ is potentially moving right in to form this genuine, albeit probably calculated and nefarious, alliance or even romance with her.
Chad gets punished for his kindness. EJ gets rewarded for his potential villainy.
Looks like the Demera world is about to get a brand new, powerful, and likely very manipulative power couple. It's a perfect setup for future conflict, isn't it? Especially if Kat is hiding something major about her brother's involvement in that lab, and EJ knows exactly what it is.
Oh, the drama is just getting started there, I think. Hashtag outro. Okay.
Yeah.
So what does this all mean? If we try and connect this to the bigger picture, these spoilers reveal this incredibly intense sort of two-pronged narrative driving Salem right through the end of November.
Absolutely. On one track, you have the catastrophic collapse of a core legacy family unit, Chad and Jennifer. And this entire destruction is driven, it seems, entirely by a tragic misunderstanding of Chad's genuine compassion, culminating in Jennifer's apparently successful custody threat and the removal of their son, Thomas, from Salem.
It's just devastating for Chad. And on the parallel track, you have the simultaneous aggressive rise of these hidden corporate and criminal conspiracies.
Right. This includes the shady lab, the dangerous for six experiments, those multiple intersecting secret missions being run by Kat, Gwen, and the ever-nosy Leo. Plus the high-stakes, violent kidnappings, Kristen already gone, and this future threat looming over Sarah.
And the return of all these beloved characters, Sammy, Eric, will... It doesn't actually stabilize Salem, does it? It feels like it just increases the chaotic intensity.
Exactly. They bring their own drama, whether it's Sammy's questionable fiancé or Will's immediate worries about his parents, all while Jeremy's back there trying to weaponize the sacred Horton family history against everybody.
The entire power structure of Salem feels like it's fundamentally shifting.
Yeah.
The heroes, people like Chad, Jennifer, maybe even Marlena if she's being poisoned. The police, they seem weakened or distracted.
And the villains are aligning into potentially formidable new power couples like EJ and Kat, driven by secretive missions, maybe long-held family grudges. It's a real shift.
So this raises a really important kind of provocative question for you, the listener, to maybe ruminate on as we head into this winter period. Given that Jennifer's custody threat seems likely to be fulfilled and Thomas is gone until 2026, Chad is going to be emotionally shattered, right? By the loss of his son, especially under these circumstances.
Not completely shattered.
So how is he going to react to the inevitable potential romance brewing right under his nose between E.J. Demera and Kat Green, the very woman his son, Thomas, blamed for the accident that started it all? Is this tragedy just the beginning? Is it the catalyst for a deep, potentially nefarious alliance between E.J. and Kat that will successfully drive Chad, now completely alienated from his family, fully back into the most ruthless depths of the Demera darkness? Where does he go from here?
That's the huge question hanging over Salem, isn't it? As we watch the heroes fall and the conspirators rise.
It really is. Thanks for diving deep into the sources with us today. We'll catch you next time.